Today's quilt was inspired by a true antique find. You're going to love today's classic and vintage quilt called Amish Star. Now, we bought this quilt about 12 years ago at Quilt Festival, and I've never recreated it because I am so scared of square to square blocks. But we decided to finally recreate it using our 4-inch square to square paper. This collection right here is called Unity. It's the Moda Fabrics collection for a cause, and it's a great match to preserve the antique quilts of this Amish quilt. You can download this free pattern at Fat Quarter Shop. And if you want to turn it into a table topper, runner, lap, or queen, we have a low price PDF. And today, what we're going to be working with is just 4 fabrics right here. And these fabrics make this block. And at the end, I'm going to be able to show you how we recreated this block in a different way with today's techniques. All of the classic and vintage quilts that we have shown you before have all come from Kansas City Star newspapers or old books, but this one is based on an actual quilt that Jocelyn and I found at Quilt Festival. It's an antique Amish quilt. It's medallion style with this beautiful star in the center. Now, just looking at it, what I think makes it really original is you can tell it's all hand sewn. This seems like kind of like a chintz cotton or polyester. It's kind of rougher than the cotton we have today. It has a cool binding effect, and just so you know, the quilt is actually not quilted. It is just laid together and it's not quilted at all. So I'm not sure how that is even possible, but today we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how to make this portion of the quilt. And at the end, I'm going to show you how we pieced our quilt a little bit different than the original, but it comes out with the same look. So we're going to work on the block. It's kind of an odd size, you'll notice, and the reason it's odd is because we're actually basing it on this antique quilt. So those sizes that we used to use 100 years ago might not be the same that we do now. We're going to be making these flying geese. They're pretty easy and they're nice and big. So you're going to take a fabric C rectangle, take both of your fabric F squares, draw a line on the wrong side from corner to corner, and I'm using a friction pin. You can use any type of marking pin that you prefer to use for quilting. It's just the brand that I like to use the most. When you use an iron, the line will go away with heat. You just don't want to use a friction pin when you're working with really dark fabrics. So to make the flying geese, my biggest tip is put the square on this side, and you really want to line up all 3 sides. So I can guarantee if you put these 3 pins stitched directly on the line, not to the left, not to the right, trim a 1/4 inch away, you're going to have a 90-degree angle right here. And if you're not careful, you know, sometimes your flying geese might come out like this or like that. So just be really careful. Once you stitch on that line and trim, this is what you will have, and see how nice that looks. Then you're going to add that last square to the other side. And again, you want to line up all 3. Put 3 pins, stitch directly on that line, trim a 1/4 inch away, and this is what your flying geese will look like. Now you're going to want to make 4 of these, and this is the easiest part of the entire block. Now this unit has a little bit of grace to it because you actually trim down. So what I'm going to do is take these fabric A and fabric G squares. There's 2 of each color. I'm going to stack them on top of each other as neat as possible. And if you've starched, it won't move as much. So from here, once you have them all stacked up, you're going to cut on the diagonal twice. Just keep them in place. And I'm only stacking them because on the next step, once you sew them together, you're going to have some room to trim down. So if you go to page 2, so from here, you're going to lay out 2 blue fabrics where the points touch and 2 cream fabrics where the points touch. You're going to definitely use pins here before you sew because these are bias edges. So you're going to put these 2 together, pin, these 2 together, pin. You're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam. So from here, I'm going to press these open. I'm going to use the quick press seam roller. We're actually going to press these open. So I like to press everything to one side first and then press open. Then you're going to take these, pin here, here, and here, stitch with a 1/4 inch seam, And this is what it's going to look like right here. Now the beauty of this is a little bit bigger than what you actually need. This is what you actually need. This is 3 inches square. So I'm going to show you how you cut this down to 3 inches. So you're going to take any ruler that's square, find the 1.5 inch marking, which is right there. And you want to do it on this diagonal line. You take that marking, put it right on that point. And then that's the 1.5 inch line. From here, you want to make sure this line and this line are right on that seam. And where the 3 inch hits here and here, you want that to line up. So you'll cut 2 sides at once, flip that around. Now, I'm also going to reline everything back up again. I'm going to line up the 2 sides all the way across. And then you're going to have this hourglass. You're going to make a total of 4 hourglass units. Now the very center of the star is a square and a square unit. And so I'm going to show you the traditional way. You take a fabric H square, and you're going to be using the fabric H in 3 spots. So you're actually going to start with 9 of these squares, but for the square and a square, you're only making 1. You're going to take the fabric B squares, draw a line on the wrong side from corner to corner. And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin. Now, some people would just pin like this, and that's totally fine if that's what you want to do. If you want your square and a square to come out really nice, if you pin 3 times, it's going to come out correct. And what I like to do is do 2 squares opposing, stitch directly on those lines, trim a 1/4 inch away. That's going to look like this. And then add your last 2 squares on the remaining corners, and I would pin 3 times on each. Now that is going to make 1 center square and a square unit. It finishes at 2.5 inches. So it's 3 inches, 1/2 inch away from that is 2.5 inches. So if you really wanted it to be exact, you could use the 2.5 inch square paper, but you're only going to be making it once, so that might not be a great investment since you're only making 1. Now later in the quilt, you can use the 4 inch square and a square paper for the border. And then you have all your pieces ready to make your star. So in the center of the star, you're going to have your square and a square. The next part, I always think is the hardest part. I have gotten so many of the hourglasses turned the wrong way. Then you're going to add 4 fabric H squares, and you're going to sew with your 1/4 inch seam, press, and then do your last 2 seams and press. So this is your star unit, and this was the hardest part of the block. You're going to add fabric E squares out here. Then you're going to take the flying geese that you made in the very, very beginning of the block, and you want the gold or the brown to touch the star. So your block is getting really big. From here, you're going to stitch with your 1/4 inch seams, both seams press, and then add the other ones. This now measures 15.5 inches square. And this is how your block looks. And then from here, we're going to make the block really gigantic by adding some borders to the outside. So from here, you're going to add fabric D rectangles to the inside of the star. You're going to take your last 4 fabric H squares. And what I like to do is I like to assemble this together, press, and then do this together and press. Then you'll do those last 2 seams, and I'm going to show you how beautiful this block is. So your Amish Star block here is 20.5 inches, and like we talked about, the hardest part is the center, and then going out it gets a lot easier. And what I wanted to point out to you is the original block that I'm going to show you in a little bit, everything here is pieced the same. But when they got to this part, they added big triangles here and trimmed down. And today's method, if we do the flying geese with the square, you get a much more accurate block and you don't have to worry about biased edges. So we did use some creative freedom on our piecing. It's a little bit different, but once it's quilted, nobody will notice. By the way, if you aren't familiar with the Collections for a Cause, Moda donates proceeds from each of those collections to a different charitable organization. For this collection, the organization is benefiting Feeding America. It's just another reason we love working with Moda Fabrics so much. The quilt we made is the tabletopper version, and it best matches the original quilt. Now, if you're looking at this, you can see that center block. That's the free pattern that I just showed you right there. If you want to assemble it into this bigger quilt, there is a low price PDF, and this is where the quilt gets hard. I would definitely make this quilt if I were doing it with a 4-inch square and a square paper, but the pattern that we wrote is for traditional piecing so that you don't have to buy the paper if you don't want to. Now on this one, we had it quilted with a cream thread that blends in really nice with the background. It's very densely quilted with a leaves pantograph. We chose a teal binding to tie the binding to the center of the quilt. It kind of brings the two colors together. And we put a medium scale floral on the back of the quilt. And now I want to show you both quilts together. So you can see that when Jocelyn recreated this, we got as close as possible to the original collection as we could, and I even think the fabrics are a very close match. The biggest difference is somehow this quilt has no quilting to it. It doesn't even have tying. It just stays together. I don't know if they had fusible that got all of this to stay together, but this one doesn't have any quilting and this one does have quilting. And then the other thing that I mentioned before is this is one big triangle where ours is flying geese with a square, but like I said, once it's quilted, you cannot tell the difference. So let me know what you think of the Amish Star quilt. What I really want to know is, can you figure out how they made that quilt with no quilting on it? That's crazy. Subscribe and join me every other Friday for my live streams. I'll see you there.